very nearly about sailing, January 2023. Crikey. January is typically for me a bit of a catch up, and sort of looking at what this year is going to bring. As many of you who watch this channel regularly know, I've been blighted by health problems, but I've promised that this isn't going to be a channel of an old man whinging about his health, but it has slowed me down a lot. So there's two ways of looking at this. You know, people say there are two types of people. You're either glass half full or glass half empty. Actually, that's irrelevant. What counts is what's in the glass. So my glass is probably about 85% empty at the moment, but the 15%, if I've done the maths right, the 15% that's left is pretty good. So look, things are going very slowly. There's two ways of looking at this. I'm either 4 years behind schedule because Serenity came out of the water in 2017 and it's just taken me so long to get hardly anything done. Or you can say that I'm quite a few years ahead of schedule because my very original plan was that on the day that I retired I was going to step onto a boat and sail around the world. So if I use the glass 15% full analogy, I'm way ahead of schedule. What's happening with health though is a few things. Now I think it was, I'll put this down here, but I think it was May 2019 when I first talked about this, and things really haven't changed very much. I've got something which I can't pronounce the words for, CFX, special effects, and it's basically is not getting particularly any better, but I am learning how to manage it. Because what I do, if I stay within a particular, it's like having a broken battery, say on a laptop. You know, and I've got a laptop which is exactly like this. The battery will last for a very short amount of time and then just switch off suddenly, and you don't quite know how long it's going to last. And if you do take it down too low, it takes ages to charge up again. That's exactly what it works with me. If I go outside of my energy envelope, and that's either mentally or physically, you know, thinking about stuff, and mentally can just be watching a film, and physically can be climbing up and down the ladder too many times on the boat, then I'm absolutely knocked out for several days. If I stick within that energy envelope, it means that I do things very, very slowly, but at least things don't get worse and I don't get that payback thing. But if I do get payback, and I did a bit of a test in November this year, that I did an online course, and I thought it was just going to be sitting there and there's a Zoom call and I could watch the replays, but we actually broke out into groups and had to do stuff. So it's 5 days and it's about 5 hours a day. And it literally knocked me out from the end of October until now, and I've been useless for anything. So progress is going to be slow, and I'm going to try and be a bit more sensible. By the way, I've got a sheet full of... There have been a lot of medical advances in this particular field because people think that the thing that I've got, that the mechanisms behind it are very similar to long COVID. Completely different infection that started it all with me. In fact, we don't know what the infection was because it was a sinus thing that just... went throughout my whole body, but because of that there's now an awful lot more research that's been done. I'm doing a DNA, involved in a DNA trial. They've taken my DNA along with 20,000 other people, so looking to see what the root causes are, to see what they can do to change things. But at the same time, and I'm not going to pronounce, I've got the names of 3 drugs now. One is to do with energy, that's been seen to help. These are early trials. One's to do with brain fog, which helps with, sometimes your brain, I just can't remember words, sometimes your brain just, and the other one is to do with breathlessness. My breathing, I get very out of breath. Unfortunately, I can't actually pronounce any of these, so I'm going to keep a lookout on those and see what happens there. So there is good stuff on the horizon. I think within the next 1 to 2 years, these three things, these are to do with the symptoms, and that'd be great to get rid of some of the symptoms, to get rid of the to actually cure it and do what's right. That's going to take a bit more research, and that's going down 2 paths at the moment. The one I mentioned before, which is that the vagus nerve is actually triggering off the immune system the whole time, and it could be the vagus nerve itself that's actually become infected, and it's kind of doing a short circuit and it just won't switch off, a little bit like a warning light on a car that won't switch off and it stops you actually starting the engine. So that's the one route. The other route is something called the cell danger response, which is or danger cell response, something like that, which is basically where, probably because of the vagus nerve kicking that thing off, the cells, rather than kick out one bit of ATP, I'm explaining this really badly, rather than kicking out one bit of ATP to do the energy stuff and then the other two make the third one again, what happens is it kicks out two bits of ATP to give you a real quick boost of energy, and then the one that's left can't do anything. It's basically just a waste product, so that gets kind of, well, you pee it out basically, it just goes from the body, and then it takes a very, 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 very long time to recharge. So days, weeks, months to recharge, as opposed to having the two bits of ATP which produce that in a few hours. We all know that if we go into the anaerobic thing. Anyway, that's all by the by. So what does this mean for the channel and the boat? What I'm going to do, what I've decided to do, is I need a few projects which are a bit smaller that I can put into smaller chunks. So I've got 3 projects going on at the moment, or I'm going to start, one of which has started, which got absolutely nothing to do with sailing at all. But they will keep me busy, they'll keep my brain busy, and they'll hopefully keep me within the parameters. And what I'm going to do is they're sort of renovation type projects. They're quite mechanical, and I'm going to do a sort of before-after video, and that will probably be at the end of a particular month. And then very early on in the beginning of the next month is how I actually did it. So there will be a DIY component. The boat stuff will be going on. I will be doing smaller boat projects, and then probably in the summer, I've lost my apprentice quite a lot because she's got a full-time job and is very busy in a slightly different part of the country. But she knows that the quicker that Serenity gets put back together, the quicker she can go out and enjoy it. And I need a crew, to be quite honest. Unless things change, I do need a crew to actually get Serenity up and going. So there'll be, probably in the summer, there'll be a couple of big Serenity projects that need finishing off, because there isn't a huge amount on the to-do list to actually finish things off. And then there'll be the smaller projects which I will do. Then there'll be these completely random things, just so that I quite enjoy making videos. So if that's the sort of thing that might appeal to you, keep tuned. If it's not, I never write scripts. Oh, by the way, I don't actually monetize. I've always said that I don't monetize these videos. And it's annoying that adverts come out, because that's a YouTube decision. So whatever advert is down here at the moment, that's rubbish, don't buy it. Whatever advert came at the beginning, that's rubbish, don't buy it. Whatever advert comes at the end, that's rubbish, don't buy it. And I'm particularly peeved because when I do my stupid little musical, not switched on, don't worry, when I do my little musical extravaganzas, I did a joke that I managed to, con is too strong a word, I managed to get the BBC Orchestra to do a version of Jingle Bells that I'd orchestrated. I got a copyright strike on that. Jingle Bells is public domain, it's very, very old. There is a company that's going out there, and I can't see what that is because the writing is it's either Korean or Japanese or Chinese or something, those sort of, that symbolic language. They've actually made a copyright claim on Jingle Bells, which you're not allowed to do. And I think they probably do this a lot. I've heard them do it with they do it with sort of people playing Bach and stuff like that. So what they're doing is they're trying to grab that advertising revenue for no work of their own. It's basically it's piracy. And us sailing people, we don't like pirates, do we? So I don't know. I might actually run that down and contest that and see what happens. But I know that a few serious musicians who tried to do sort of variations on Bach and so on are all of a sudden having their revenue, because they do monetize, stolen from them by these people. Now I don't mind about where the money goes because it's not, I don't monetize it, so it just goes to you. I'd rather it went to YouTube than it went to these pirates. But anyway, a little rant over. Any questions on that, drop me a line. I do try and get back to everybody that does it. Hope you're all well. Happy New Year if I didn't say that. And yeah, that's it. It was just a talky one for this one. And I will get back to you with these projects. The big project I'm involved in now, I've had to move everything upstairs, by the way, because the big project I'm doing inside, and it involves over 1,000 fine adjustments and changes, and so it's a big project, but I can do it a small bit at a time. That might take a couple of months, it might take several months, but anyway, get back to you on that one. Hope you're well. See you next month. No idea what the content is going to be. Hope you're all well, and let's look forward to a 2023 that's at least 15% good. Wouldn't that be great? If you could have if you could guarantee 15% goodness. So my glass is 15% full, and I am chuffed about it. But what 15% means, by the way, is what used to take me a day to do now takes me a week. That's about 15%, isn't it? That's pretty good. I don't mind 15%. It's a good number. Right, see you next month.